Welcome back to Broken Electronics. I'm Lee, and I'm so glad you could take the time to join me today. We are continuing today in our little foray into the wonderful world of Mac Minis. In our last video, I had, with a bit of a struggle, upgraded the SSD in the 2014 Mac Mini to a 1 terabyte drive. I had originally been going to install the OS on that drive, but the video became long enough that I didn't think adding to it would be a good idea at that point. So, following along, we now have here the 2012 Mac Mini server. We booted this up a couple of videos ago. This is a quad-core i7 with 16 gigabytes of RAM. It is fully uploaded. Now, being the server configuration, it has two 500 gigabyte hard drives, which we discovered in booting it up were very, very, very painfully slow. So my plan today is to remove the top one of those hard drives and replace it with a 1 terabyte SSD. This shouldn't be too big a problem. As I pointed out in the last video, I'd never owned a 2014 Mac Mini, let alone opened one up and tried to do anything with it. These, I've got 3 or 4 of these from a varying configuration. Some of them the dual core i5s. I've got 2 of the quad core i7s. So I'm a little bit firmer ground getting into this. That doesn't mean I won't run into trouble, but I think I have a little bit better chance, I hope. And if you'd like to find out if that's actually true, please stay tuned. Okay, the tripod I've got going here is far from ideal. You will notice, however, I think you'll be able to see this, are 2 indentations on the back of all of Unibody Mac Minis from 2010 through 2012. There's only 2014 that changed that. And up here, you're going to see a dark dot and a lighter dot. You can probably make out, when I shine the light, that there is a white dot here. Putting your thumbs into the indentations, you can rotate the cover so that the white dot on the cover is in there, and off we come. Here's the RAM. We don't need to touch that. Now, first thing we need to do is remove the antenna plate here. These are, if memory serves, Torx T8 screws. Maybe these aren't. Yeah, I guess they're not. Okay. It's okay. We have a lot of options here. Let's try this. Okay. Yeah, I really thought those were all the same. But it's been a while since I've been inside one of these things. this is the T6, it should work for the fan screws as well. But it does not. Okay. We'll change again. There we go. Now, do I remember? No, I thought these were captive, but I guess not. And more. That one is captive. Okay, now disconnect the fan from the logic board. Now, okay, I guess we need to get the shroud out. Oh, yeah, I remember. This is a pain, this screw here. It's partially buried. There we go. And we are going to hope that we do not have to unplug that. Okay, I guess that screw, I thought that screw was out. There we go. There, so we've got the shroud out now. All right, now we did need to get the shroud out. Oh, that's interesting. Hope we can get this thing out without much further disassembly. There we go. Starting to get it. Tell you what, I will fuss with this off camera. Stay tuned. Okay, we got it easily enough once we fussed some. All right, now this ribbon connector is the SATA connector. Now, can I unplug that? Now, we've got to get the tape off. I'm hoping to reuse this tape. Okay, now the SATA connector comes off. Find our SSD, which is in my pocket. Okay. And let's connect the SATA connector. There we go. Okay, so SATA connector is connected, and tape isn't very sticky, but it should be good enough. There is no need to take this cover off. I mean, I suppose I will eventually take it off. Now there are what the heck are those screws? Oh, Lord. That wasn't big enough. There we go, yeah, T8s again. Now, there are two holes back in here into which these things are supposed to go. Now there's one. Now I'll get the other one, and then I am going to try my level best to put this in. Now the funny thing I'm seeing here, this second SATA connector for the lower of the two hard drives was not connected. I just connected it. I thought I remembered both of those drives showing up. It must have somehow gotten jostled in the opening. Okay, so I'm going to take the second pin out, put it in here, and then see if I can possibly get this lined up so that it goes in to those two holes, because you can't see what you're doing. Oh well, stay tuned. Well, that didn't actually end up being that bad. By standing the Mini on its front end here, I was able to move the drive in. But part of the problem with doing this, of course, is that the SSD is not nearly as thick as the hard drive, even though they're both the 2.5-inch form factor. Okay, now there's another thing here that I am more than likely going to have to fuss with. And that's getting this back on. It's not exactly right. Okay. And now, if I've got this right, these screws are going to screw back in. Now the problem, of course, is which screwdriver have I got? thought I had that. Okay. That one goes in pretty easily. That one's just not quite lined up. Okay, more off-camera fussing. Well, it's back together. I had a devil of a time. Well, getting the shroud on was a pain, but that was okay. Getting the fan reconnected, it just didn't want to go. But it's back together now, and let's see what happens. Stay tuned. Okay, button is pressed. There's the chime. It is, okay, this should answer a question. The operating system that was on there, Catalina, was on the drive that I left in place. So this should tell us something here. Good Lord, that's slow. Okay, and as I remember, this did not have a password. I remember correctly. Okay. Just to get them close to one another, there we see our two drives, Macintosh HD, which was the original boot drive. Okay. Looking at about this Mac. It is in fact the 2.3 gigahertz quad-core Intel Core i7, 16 gig of RAM. Have a quick look at the storage. Here's the Mac. Oh! This is 1 terabyte. Okay, I thought there were 500 gigabytes. Okay, well that's cool. So we have 2 terabytes of storage. Now, what we're going to end up doing with this is to install Ventura on both the 2014 and the 2012. Once we've done that, we can do some comparisons between the two, but that should give us a level playing field between the two. As to what I'm going to do with the Catalina, it's a good question. It is good if you can to have the original operating system, but you know, I might actually want that storage. Okay, anything else to look at? You know, the memory, the 2 8 gig sticks were all right. Things worked. The Apple Cinema display with the crazy resolution. All right, so be good to other people. They need it and deserve it. Be good to yourselves. Any good that we do in this world has to start with being good to ourselves. We can make this world a better place. It is not yet, so please take very, very good and careful care. Next up should be the OS installations. We'll see how that goes. If that goes well, and I don't see why it shouldn't, we may combine some of the benchmarking in with that, or that may be a separate video. But anyhow, I think that one of the next things up, you know, unless Apple throws any curves at us here, is going to be still Mac Mini related. So, until that's up and available on the channel, this has been Broken Electronics.